dumb thing says Windows shutting down. I didn't shut it down. What did I do? Gee.
Birthday greetings, by gosh. This war is raising lots of hell, but don't you frown or fret, 'cause they ain't started rationing on happy birthdays yet.
Love, Thelma.
Love, Thelma.
What's this one say?
Oh, that's, I just want these two. Because this is the...
Rationing
this
of
is
the
a period of time. Birthday greetings. They haven't rationed wishes yet. But just in case they do, I'm making a point of sending these stamps with a wish that's just for you. Ration book for birthday wishes. Name of person, Nadine Jones, that's you. Issued by Jewel and J. Cadenhead, that's me. Notice, number 1, hope this will get your stamp of approval. Number 2, there is one point I want to make clear, and that is there's hoping that everything points toward another happy year for you. You history people,
Yeah.
you kids that need to know about history.
Yeah.
During World War II, we gave also, as well as the boys in the service. Sugar was rationed, rubber was rationed, butter was rationed, gasoline was rationed, and a lot
And
of
if you were
other
out of
things.
gas and you didn't have a stamp, you couldn't get any.
That's right. The main thing that that concerned us was maybe sugar, because we didn't use it. Well, maybe gasoline for farming, but we didn't buy so much stuff in the store to eat anyhow. So here, you haven't see this. This is my mother and dad and Leah and Carol.
I have never seen that picture.
Now, I want a picture of that.
But see, now I don't have a pic.
What is this book you
have
have?
this picture. This is Mountain View, 1899 to 1999, the first 100 years. Leah got this.
Oh,
We got it
I
when
wonder
we
if
were
we can
back there.
still
one
get
time.
one.
So see if it's not in focus.
I think you married up, Dad.
Okay, it says flash. Okay.
I got on
Go
with
ahead.
Stuart the other day.
Well,
I
I'm gonna
Stuart, you
bring
can
it down
take
right
the
on
date
top
off
of
of
it because
those
it's not
pictures.
focusing well.
Well, this is our own private swimming hole, and wasn't really ours alone because everybody in the community went down there to swim. But it was really neat, and practically all summer all the kids in the area would be down at the swimming hole swimming when they didn't have some chores to do. It's about 1.5 miles from our house, and it also served wonderfully well in the summer as a place to take a bath, because all the guys working in the fields would be dirty and hot, and they'd go down and take their bath and swim in the old swimming hole, because at home you had to pump the water and put it in a tub, so it's a lot easier to go to the swimming hole. But it's really a neat place. And that someone eventually chipped some steps down on this side of the bank, and right at the bottom was kind of a little flat rock where the water was, as long as you were on that rock, it wasn't deep. One day when I was swimming, actually it was before I could swim very good, I decided to go down the bank and sit on the flat rock, and I slipped, and Kenneth, my brother, was right at the bottom, and I almost drowned him before he could get me onto the flat rock. So anyhow, that's it.
Doing with the
Okay. I mean, just if we weren't working, and of course when you got big enough, you know, you chopped cotton or whatever there was to do. But if we weren't working, we were down at the creek swimming in the swimming hole. And I can tell you, of course, now this is the good old days. But lots of times the guys, a bunch of guys, boys would be down swimming, and they'd go in without any clothes on. And there was a big bank. Are taking this? There was a big bank up above, and the swimming hole. But you could go up and you would yell and say, "Okay, we're coming down," and they'd all get out and put on swimming trunks. And there was never any. I take that back. Sometimes there were adults down there. Sometimes there was nothing but just a gang of kids. And to my knowledge, there was never, ever anything really ever out of the way among those kids down there swimming. And
nobody drowned.
Nobody drowned. And there was a little place kind of around where it made like a little room, and we girls would go around there and put on our swimsuits or put on our shorts to swim. Probably didn't even have a swimsuit. But it was just really neat. Great. Over on this side of the pool, the water was deeper, and the flow came pretty much through the center of the swimming hole, the creek running through. And sometimes logs would have floated down, and if there were any in there, they'd be over on that side. And I never did go over there because they said there sometimes were snakes in the water. And one time, my grown brother was over in that swimming, and a snake, now I don't think it was a water moccasin, probably just a water snake, but a snake got around his shoulders over in the swimming hole. But we still went swimming, even though possibly there were snakes in the thing. Everything was in bloom. They pretty well finished right now, except and show Jason and Gina, and it's a movie of when you kids were really little, when Janine was a baby and you were a baby, and so he has made a DVD for everybody. He's going to bring it. He put all of that on a DVD. So.
When's the first time you saw Mama? First time you met Mama?
She was 11 years old, and she and her folks came out to see John and Marie in Tulare. We went to church, and they were there. And so the Adaires invited us over for lunch after church. And so Nadine and her folks were there. And so Nadine and I went out after lunch and went out and sat in the cars parked out on the street in the front. We just went out there and sat in the car and talked all afternoon while we were over there.
How old were you?
I was 13 and she was 11. So she went back to Oklahoma, and I didn't see her anymore till after I graduated from high school and went into the Navy. And
Oh, you hadn't seen her
no,
before you went in the Navy?
no.
Okay.
And so I think I wrote her one letter, and and Ralph Monroe, you know, Helen's husband, said, told her that you sure have, there's a young guy out here sure smitten by you, talking about me, you know. And so anyway, that's.
Where were you hanging out with Ralph and Helen at that point?
Oh, we just visit once in a while, just see them. You know, our families were all intermixed.
The Churchwells and
Yeah.
Smiths, they knew each other. I mean, the
Oh, yeah,
Joneses.
yeah. Well, we didn't know the Joneses because they lived in Oklahoma.
Oh, but you knew Ralph Monroe.
Yeah, and we knew John Marie,
Yeah.
which is Marie's the oldest daughter, or Nick's the oldest daughter. And so anyway, that's the way we were connected through the church, and of course,
Now, when's the next time you saw her?
well, after I got home from the war, and I was still stationed down in San Diego, and I come home on the weekend for a weekend liberty, and I saw her at church, and so I don't know. It seemed like Saturday night, the next weekend, we had a date, and I took her out to. There's some big band playing over at Hanford, so we went over there and heard this big band. I didn't care anything about the band, but she was crazy about it, and. So I told her that night I was going to marry her.
What'd she say? Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. She says, that sounds like a, well, she didn't tell me this, but she told somebody else. Sound like a sailor's tale to me.
Did you mean it?
Yeah.
I guess you did.
So anyway, when I got home, after I got discharged, then we started going together. And so I asked her to marry me, and I gave her an engagement ring. And we were waiting for her blood. You had to have a blood test, you know, to get married. And she went down to the doctor and got her blood taken, but it's 2 weeks and it still hadn't come back. I said, well, I'm nuts for this. Let's go to Las Vegas. So we got in the old Plymouth and took off to Las Vegas and got married.
Okay.
And that was, she says that Hartford married me for my money. He said, after we paid for the motel and everything and was ready to come home, I was the only one that had any money. Hartford didn't have any money, so. So that's the way it all started, I mean.
Okay, a couple of weeks before, might have been a month before Uncle Kenneth passed, he was able to spend a couple of weeks with me up in Portland. And we got to talking about him being in World War II and me being in Vietnam. And I told him that, well, you guys knew what you were fighting for. You had a purpose and a cause. And in Vietnam, we were never quite sure what we were over there for. And Uncle Kenneth says, a cause, nothing, I was just trying to stay alive. So what was your feelings about it? I know you were in high school and some of your other friends had gone and you just felt like you needed to go.
Well, after we got into the second semester, our senior year, they gave us our diplomas if we joined up. So we got into the second semester one day and we all went down and signed up and went to the Navy.
You had enough of school.
So Anyway, I was over in Guadalcanal 11 months after all the boot camp and training. And we had some pretty rough times making beachheads. Main thing was that was bothering us was the Japanese dive bombers. Or I mean, we'd go in there and those suckers were like bees. They were just all over. And you know, so that was pretty scary. Especially one time is I was sitting up right on the bow on a gun, 40 millimeter, quad 40 millimeters, and we were firing at him. I mean, you couldn't hardly see the plane through all the tracer bullets going up. I mean, man, I kept thinking, boy, if we hit him, he's going to hit us right straight in the face. Either that, or if he's a kamikaze, he's going to just hit us right straight on. Well, he dropped his bomb, and I swear I could see that bomb when it came out, and it just missed the bow of the ship. And he turned off, and he was smoking. And he went over the horizon just smoking. He was just skimming the water, you know, all the way over there. So evidently he probably went down. But that was one of the closest things I had to scare. The closest scare I had was that.
But did you feel like you had a purpose for it?
Oh yeah, I was ready and willing to be there.
What were you fighting for?
Well, the Japanese had bombed us and were going to take us over, so we were fighting them to put them back where they should be. And anyway, I always felt like that was a just cause. But of course, when you went into Vietnam, you know, if you don't remember or not, I told you to sign up as a
Oh, I remember. Conscious objector.
conscious objector. I said I would go and fight, but I would go as a conscious objector and maybe be a hospital foreman or something. But I wouldn't bear arms.
We get these washed up here and I'll show you what I need.
Kirsten, I will forgive you for not coming. I understand, but I don't. And there is definitely a hole where you would have been. But we'll manage to have a good time anyway. But I want you to know you were missed.
And cut.
Perfect!
He didn't want the bitten one, and then I took a bite of this one on the way out.
Chad, you want to close this, yeah, never mind. Close the screen because we do have mosquitoes and they might come in. But this breeze though tonight, it's really nice out here.
Just spitting in them.
Lovely!
Knock her over.
She's my mom!
I can knock
I can knock her over, I want to.
You want to get one of those other chairs over there, and here, you can have this cushion.
I'm fine. I'll just go sit right
Okay.
there.
They're not real sturdy.
Ding ding. Is it working?
Do tap the lens, Mom. Is it working?
Taking my picture.
Tell the story.
This will be great. And Gina's wedding, at the reception actually. I don't know how they got hold of Jason, but your dad.
Oh, I know, and Larry.
And so, you know, he was going along with it. He knows this is just
Uh-huh.
joking. But Mark said, he said, I finally decided that it was time to turn around because Jason said, Uncle Mark, they are kidding, aren't they?
That would have been evil.
Because he didn't, and they were at
Yeah,
first. But
yeah.
after, he thought they were at first, but after a while he said, you know, I don't know these guys really that well. They might think, I guess Chad was probably maybe 3 or 4, and they put Casey on the floor in their bedroom, made a pallet for him. So I said, well, you know, we've got this big king-size bed. Chad can sleep with us. So, okay. And we went to bed, it's fine, went to sleep. Well, Hartford started snoring, and Chad woke up crying, and he says, there's a pig in the bed, there's a pig in the bed. And I said, no, Chad, it's Grandpa. No, there's a pig in the bed, a pig in the bed. And he got out of bed. He did not sleep with us the rest of the night.
The camera.
Well, by the time you get finished listening to Gerald, you'll go,
That was like
I
making
find
my
myself
head
going,
like totally
You got a halo, yeah.
Oh, halo. How can that be?
Reflecting off the.
Oh, steady. Everything's fine. Oh dear.
Talk to it, Catherine.
know.
So what was your favorite story that your grandma read to you, Chad? Can you remember?
Favorite story.
Besides pigs in a bed.
Well, we did read, what was that one with the kid that had the shoes off and he was hiding behind the curtain and the dog?
Look up the monster
seen that.
one. The Scotty dog one that Gerald's always talking
I
about.
don't remember that one.
No.
And
He
what
was
did the
playing
dog
hide
do?
and seek and his dog was looking for him.
Oh,
Casey might remember.
I don't remember that one. Casey said his was, of course he was, it's when he was younger, we were in there looking through his books, and he said, Good Night Moon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
Well, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
That's an easy one.
That's the given.
All little kids
You gotta think of
love
something
that.
cooler than that.
yeah. I'm liking the story about the kid behind the curtain.
Well, I gotta figure out what it is.
Was and his toes stuck out underneath the curtain?
Yeah, he was hiding behind the curtain and they couldn't find him and his little black foot was sticking out under the...
Oh, I wonder what that is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Cut!
You painted that.
She's only wanted it for 30 years.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that is neat.
That is really
That
cool.
looks
It
like
is.
Grandma.
And you're reading.
And Caleb.
Oh.
Thank you.
I'm trying to figure out today where to hang it.
That's wonderful.
This is
Carol.
acrylic. I hope you don't mind. It's not oil.
Oh.
Well, I don't know, hon, maybe you should do it over. No. Thank you.
That was wonderful.
Oh,
The artiste.
For the longest time, I didn't have anything in the book.
oh, okay.
Because I thought, okay, well, we could leave it like this, and the viewers could decide what book she's reading. I showed it to Caleb, and he goes, Grandpa, you need to put the book in the book.
In the book.
So well, that answers that. I made my decision, didn't I?
Put the bug in the book.
And another thing I had a terrible time. I put down, and I went, wow, I got her.
I know
Yeah, you
what
did.
it
And
is.
and Caleb, I go, oh, that was no. That's. Christine comes over, and she comes in. And she goes, "You really got your mom down." I know, Christine. I'm working on it.
You
And I'm
got
looking at
it.
his face, and I'm going, it's not working. It's not. Doesn't. So I took my brush and went, oh, and thinking if I mess up, I'll change it. Right there. Just, and I went, well, okay.
that's it.
So I left it.
See, that's why I wish I could see stuff like that.
Now, at home, we had a lamp down here
Uh-huh.
with the ruffle around it and a chimney,
Oh, uh-huh.
and it looks like part of the painting. There's the lights coming up on the book.
Oh.
So I don't know.
I
That
think
is
you
so
should
cool.
move your sand paintings, put them on the wall, and you need to put Dad's painting and the kids, and you and Caleb. No, over
No.
here.
It's
Wait,
Mom's
where's the
choice.
other painting?
Which one's it? It's on the hallway.
Oh,
And
I
then
know
do there.
that.
So you put them together. That would look so good. Oh yes, that's what you need to do.
That?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry.
gonna look. You'll have
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
4 generations. 4 generations, Mom.
Sure.
Oh. On the
Yeah.
It's okay, Dad.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mom.
It's not that I was involved in that.
Yes.
I know.
Oh,
Yes,
they
it
were,
was.
Have you
That's
seen
their
it?
frame.
Had you seen it?
That's Mark brought
Yeah,
some
he
frames
came over and
I helped him
okay.
frame it.
Oh,
You know,
Oh, he's seen it already.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
there's some food. Are you hungry?
I can just,
It's not so
it's like, you know, I have to go to
So
my
you
wife
can
goes,
learn
oh,
to
I can't
read
eat
that
it.
book pretty fast.
And I don't have to do that.
A child can read that book,
Like if
I mean,
it
that's
calms
good.
down.
and especially
I
since the
don't
words
have
are
to.
meaningful.
Oh, wait. Okay.
Each town did she fit to her style. Cleaning, getting rid of each mouse. Cleaning,
Cleaning,
getting rid of each mouse.
Oh, come on. It's auto-correcting.
That's all right.
Well, I mean, Lance would.
there you go. Good job, Janine.
No, he said, first I said, do you have a keyboard? And he said, yes. And I said, could we use it in here for 10 or 15 minutes in about 2 hours? And he says, yes. Then I said, because they said they had a piano, but they can't find it. And he said, oh, it's in the ballroom in a closet. So,
You're so good. Now I know where I get it. I
don't take pictures of me. I do not want to see this on YouTube.
Yes. YouTube. YouTube. That's perfect. Great Grandma Nadine's birthday.
No messing around.
Let me think about it.
Okay, you're on the spot, Janine.
Okay. When I was 6 years old, I started asking my mother questions about sex, and she answered all of them. She sat down very patiently, was not embarrassed, explained everything. And she said, when you have questions as you get older, just come back and talk to me, and we'll talk about it some more. So that's how I learned about the birds and the bees.
Okay, when I was probably about 7, I asked my mother too where babies came from, and the explanation she gave me, I didn't have a clue after she was done where babies came from. It was so technically difficult to understand, but she did. She was forthright with all of the information.
I knew we had one. That's what I was saying.
That is wonderful. Perfect. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Okay. Actually, my mom had it's her mom too. But anyway,
Yeah.
my mom, when I asked the questions, she had a book with pictures. And it was not Playboy. It was a good book. And the pictures, well, the pictures were about where the baby was. It showed where the baby was. And and it was drawings showing the baby in the, well, okay, it didn't show how you got a baby.
Thank you. That's what I was interested in. I just wanted to know what was going to happen this act when this child was conceived and started. And she did explain it to me, but like I said, after she was done, I didn't have a clue. But I thought, okay, that's probably all I want to know. And I said, okay, Mom.
Well, that's why she said you can come back later.
Yes, that was probably
When you
it.
have another question.
Hello, everybody. Let's see.
I could hear you guys talking in the background when I was there at the house earlier. But I didn't know where you were. I was losing my mind anyway, so I just came on over here.
I didn't know you were.
Have a friend?
I've been making nice kite camp.
This is his wife, Christina. This is Aunt Lena.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Let's see now, who are
Gerald's
you?
wife Valerie.
This is Aunt Lena. She was the World War II bride from Italy.
You're gonna have everybody stand up.
Already. Okay, I'm gonna try to just because I like.
My neck got all really tight. How much alimony do they have to pay? We might. She's full price for 50.
I'm glad you slept well last night. That needs to go up. I did it wrong. She's got the artistic. You need to go up, not down.
Yeah, they did sell her house last Yes. That's
She got it, maybe you didn't. No, they were all direct. She just-
All right, isn't it? I don't find out, you know, she said, oh, boy, she looks great.
Good. I haven't seen
She
her.
was just
She did. She had a bakery, or she and a friend. That's her. She They did when I was little, and that was like the whole story about my mom made cake to sell, and I went and like dug a thing out, and my mom took it out, and she was, oh my goodness, we have mice, and I was like, oh goodness, look at that, she's short there. I was like, yep, mice. I don't know, because I had dug a, you know, and she knows now. Yeah, she knows now. Yeah, because well, I didn't remember if I had told her then, but I don't think I did. I think I told her later that it was me. But I didn't really think it was that big of a deal. Yeah, because I I remember doing it though. I remember in the pantry just looking at it.
Behind my back.
I remember being on the shelf in the pantry.
Last night.
I guess so. I didn't know.
The Catherine touch.
Yeah. Mom's getting younger all the time.
But anyway, what we just want to, I'm just going to say a few words, and then we've got some music to do, and then if anyone wants to share something impromptu as the time goes on, we can do that. As my mother, Nadine Smith, and Nadine Jones Smith, is a godly woman who was patient and smart and wise. And smart and wise are two different things. She's also smart. You can be very wise and not be real smart, but you can be wise. She's both of those things. And I could always talk to her about all kinds of girl things. I don't know about the boy things, but I could always talk to my.
Sorry, Lance.
I could ask any question. I was never embarrassed to ask any question of her. She would do the best to answer it and give good advice, and was never embarrassed and never acted like she couldn't talk to me about that. She prayed constantly for her children in all the times that we went through in our lives, the challenges and the successes. We knew that she was always praying. Grace. She has lots of grace. We have lots of grace in our family. We don't tiptoe around things. We are very honest with each other, but we give each other a lot of grace. We're big on the grace part. And that has a lot to do with all of us in our family and in our relationships with others. Mom and Dad were a good team for teaching us this very important thing about relationships. How to let go of the smaller things and concentrate on those more important parts of all of the relationships that we would have as a wife, as a husband, as a son, as a daughter, as a mother, as a grandmother, so that you always on your life journey maintain your closeness with God, and you attain that peace and happiness because of the grace and love that you have for your family.
If you don't know, the interpretation of grace, it's an unmerited favor.
And that's what I have to say. I think all of us, her sons and daughters, feel that way. That is one of the most invaluable lessons that we have as brothers and sisters, and hopefully what we share with our children and our grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Okay. And now, what we are going to do, where's Mark?
A wife of a noble character, who can find? She's worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her, and that's nothing but she brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. Speaks with wisdom, faithful instructions on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and that's true. And he praises her Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her the reward she has earned.
Every word is a high and
life where days have long since gone, beholding an image of what I used to be, as visions were stirred and God spoke to me. Warfare were firmly in place. I felt my heart weeping, my eyes held so much, as God let me feel the warrior's prayer touched. I thought, how familiar those words that were prayed. Their prayers were like lightning that never would fade. I said, God, please, the warrior's name. He gave no reply. He chose to refrain. I asked, Lord, who is broken that they need such prayer? He showed me an image of myself standing there. Bound by confusion, lost and alone, I felt prayers of the warrior carry me home. I asked, please show me, Lord, this warrior so true. I watched and I wept. Mom. The warrior was you.
Well, earlier today, Cameron, he asked, well, now tell me something about your mom. And I'm going, oh my gosh. And I thought, okay, well, this to follow along the lines of Janine's grace. I remember I was probably 10 or 11, and Mom was sick in bed, and it was a weekend, and I thought, oh, I'll go in, I'll make Mom breakfast, and I'll take it to her. Well, I turned the heat on under the grease, and being a child, I probably went off to watch cartoons. And before I knew it, the entire house was full of smoke. And I came around the kitchen, and there was a huge flame going to the top of the hood, and I'm going, Mom! And she comes roaring out of her sick bed, puts the fire out, and as we open up the house, and she's looking at the ceiling, there's a blanket of black soot throughout the entire house on the ceiling. She gets up, and I remember to this day, I don't remember a word out of her mouth like, you idiot, what were you thinking? She just went, she went and got the bucket and the water and started to clean the ceilings of the house. And it is so obvious to me from my mother, it is the intention of your heart that she sees, not necessarily what the product is produced. That is her in a nutshell. She just sees your heart, and that's good enough. Even though I created tons of work for her.
But I would cry. So I'm not going to do that. But everything that the kids have said about my sister is true. And if I had one wish for every woman in the world, I would wish they would have a sister like mine.
I do. Okay, tell them what you're going to sing. This Rachel just wanted to
Sing Jesus loves me.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong, they are weak, but he is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so.
I think she consistently makes me feel normal. When I think I'm going crazy or I have some life-altering question, because I tend to dwell on things. There's been many nights where we're trying to solve the problems of the world and whatever, but there's been so many times that, especially through college, you know, when you're on your own and you're examining a lot of things about your life and coming to conclusions. And I called Grandma with the scary questions, you know, where Mom, you know, I talk to you about everything, but I don't want to worry her. She's the one that's like, you talk to Grandma. You know, that's the thing is, but the thing about Grandma and Grandpa both is you can't shake them. Like, you know, you could come to them with anything, and you know they're never going to be like, well, you've really gone over the deep end, or, you know, they're always just, they're unshakable, like, okay. They might pray a couple more times that night. You know, so, you know, and that's the thing. And like, I just remember, you know, and one time I just said, Grandma, I just feel like crying all the time. And she goes, oh, honey, I just do it all the time. Just go in the room, a couple hours, come on out, you'll be fine. You know? I was like, hey, she's very stable. Like, so I was like, okay. So, yeah, exactly. It's just those things that I was always the first thing in my mind was call Grandma. She'll ground me and she'll make me feel normal when things were really, you know, weird and all over the place. So I just, and always that advice that, again, like Janine said, you can talk to her about anything, and it just wouldn't faze her. She, okay, all right, and she'll give you an answer. She's just, that's just an amazing thing.
Gave them advice all the time, sometimes when they didn't ask for it.
Yeah, but see, we come back for it. Sometimes, you know, sometimes you're like, okay, but yeah, but then we'll always
But that was usually the advice that wasn't really personal. It was like, hey, Daisha, Captain, look here, we're doing oatmeal this morning. I want you to learn how that you can have all these meals out of oatmeal compared to a box of cereal.
And Grandma, what do I eat every morning for breakfast? I do. I do every morning. I love it. See, again, I'm normal. That makes me feel great.
To 80, one would be melted to the bottom of the cake. So I went for the 80. So yes, we're going to get you some candidates that will sing happy birthday to her.
There's Gina.
Or Gina.
I don't know what that was.
And your great grandma let you see the mom of Jesus.
Jane.
Okay, here we go.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mom. Happy birthday to you.
You guys do a great job. I have heard people singing happy birthday in restaurants, and it is so. We got lots of good singers. Yes, we do. Wonderful.
I'm glad I didn't put any candles on there.
Almost.
Layers and things that went into it. I said, oh, I'll never make that. I said, no wonder it's so good.
That's right.
Yes. Happy birthday, Kathy. What fun. Girl, I know that. The other Gina. Yes, the other Gina. What fun we will have. Happy birthday. We got married.
So,
And can't wait to do so. I love her. Gina, your smarter daughter. Yeah. Oh, so we're going to take a trip.
so you pick where you want to go, Grandma.
Okay.
And we may get to pick the time though. You know,
Yeah, we're gonna have
we're
to
the
coordinate
schedule
the
people.
time.
Yeah.
So you pick the place. We thought, you know,
And we're
maybe
gonna-
We'll
Boston
pay
or
the- we'll
DC
pay the-
or
This is pretty wide open.
It is. She put the Eiffel Tower on there.
I say go big or don't go.
You can
That's your gift.
And that's our plan.
Okay.
That's the plan.
All right, we got the. Ooh, that's-
I know.
Well, we knew you didn't want stuff.
I like to travel.
You don't want me to read all of these.
That's kind of cute.
This is a nice card from Joe and Judy.
Nadine says, "So you're gonna come before council." I said, well, I don't want to be presumptuous. After 10 years ago, I was a little worried about that. She went over there, but remember the anniversary?
Look like the
Out all the day. Oh. Well, it was unexpected.
Hold it down.
You know, the whole writing is being able to describe what you did and why you did it and your job.
Last time she took a picture with me, she said I looked mean.
Oh, that you don't look mean in this one.
To a level of confidence.
You said you were
TV off. You know, in terms of being
Talking and I was about to cry.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's good, Sean. That's a good one. Look at this one, Cass.
Let me see. I took that one. It was a good one. I know which one it is. Oh, you did take that one. Okay. I got a really good one.
Alright, 5, 2.
And she says,
Alright.
Yeah. It's 20% just because of the loss of 4 lots.
I'm right where I
Hey, Catherine.
It was pretty small.
Are you guys
it was like
going
35.
to church with Lance and
Yeah,
them in the
so,
morning?
I think so.
and
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
that might be
those
just
two
easier.
combined-
Yeah, I wasn't trying
I
to.
wanted to get out there.
Yeah, doing
That's great. That's right.
Good to see you
Good
guys,
day.
man.
Good day.
Finally. Better Nate than Lever.
Yeah. Came over one.
That's your hat. Your bush hat.
All done good?
Yeah.
Valerie said, here, take the camera, get some pictures of him.
Yeah, you may not get any more for a while. How are you doing?
Hey.
That's him.
Hi, Gina.
Just like him, David.
You look good.
Of course I do.
It's like the sign
I
last
didn't know what to expect. I thought you'd be 100% gray, but not. That
Well,
eye
she is.
looks really good.
I would be if I didn't open the bottle.
Good to see you. How was your birthday? I got your stuff in the bag.
It was wonderful.
I got some
Doesn't he look
stuff
just
for
like
you.
he signed last
You
week?
missed
Looks
all
just the
the-
same.
Oh, I know
We're
it.
celebrating again tomorrow.
We
So-
actually,
Yeah, that's your birthday, so I really didn't miss it.
we actually gave you.
Oh, wait a minute. Have we got a picture of Hartford in this hat?
Oh, yeah, what?
We gave you a space to speak, but you didn't speak up.
Well, that's all right.
Not bad.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, a long time, gee.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't really do anything. Hold on. All I can do is die. And like this. Oh, you are weird. You can't do anything. I'm done. Now. I'm gonna sit on you guys.
Be nice to the guy. He's cooking your meal. I think when Lance comes back out, though, you need to tell him about the restaurant that him and Jason need to open, an Aborigine restaurant.
An Aborigine restaurant?
Yeah, Aborigine.
Oh, yeah.
You'd love the stuff they eat.
It's easy to cook. Aboriginal.
Lance is here. Tell him about the Aborigine cooking.
Yeah, start a restaurant. What do they cook? What do they eat? Oh, you just get the sand frogs, and you just, everything that you eat, you just throw it on the fire. I mean,
Wombat.
Let's see. The bigger stuff you may want to, dress it, but don't worry about the fur or anything else. Just throw it on the fire.
Cook it with the fur on.
Yeah.
Gross.
The snakes, the fish, everything, they have a fire going and they just throw it on the fire. Man, they don't go.
Take two.
If you will, we could do,
Yes.
we could do
I'm gonna do a mime.
Here's grandmother reading to us.
Grandma made me feel like I was eating bugs.
I saw him on the surface streets, but that's before we got on the freeway.
And then I'll do the Jason and I not listening to her.
No.
Old the
wild things.
Where the wild things
Where
are?
the wild things.
Yeah, that's it.
And she read that book to you?
She read it to us in the Delano house with the lime green carpet and gold, the big mirrors in the dining room. Remember that place?
Yep, and the steps, the sunken living room.
Yes.
It was the golf cart. He always let us drive the golf cart, and Daisha somehow didn't realize it was in reverse and hit the gas, and it was kind of hard to get it off the emergency brake, and it rolled down and down in Chestina where the how the thing was, the driveway, and it went down into the bushes, back off, and so I ran down there thinking, what is going on? The golf cart's in the bushes, and Grandpa was just. If you're ever gonna hear him curse, which I've never have, it was probably then. But his hair was all messed up, and it was pretty hilarious.
Wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute.
Dad's got to come again.
You've never seen your grandpa with his hair?
I know.
Yes, she did. One time.
Only when Daisha
One time, yeah.
backed thing off the driveway.
Go in the house.
Yeah. Where? I'm nosy.
Because that'll take too long. Changing your peeps. That'll take too long. Yeah, don't say change. Don't change your peeps. Look, you're small. Why am I
this game's really
big?
Well, I tell you, we've been having some fine weather the last few days.